In this class, we'll be looking at a case study of a Nigeria's small and medium enterprise, an SME. We'll be looking at the impact of fraud on this company. This is a typical example of an employee fraud. As if you can remember, the last class we talked about the case, we used Enron as a case study. The Enron case study was a typical example of a corporate fraud where the management was working fraudulently to the interest of the organization. That is, they were making the organization itself look better than it was so as to lure the investing public or to invest wrongly in the company, or also as to underpay tax as it may be. But in the case of Enron, like we saw in the last class, it was to lure the investing public into investing into a company they would have otherwise not invested in. So we are talking about the corporate, the organization itself being fraudulent now. And who are the people engineering this? The founder, the executive, the management of the company. But in the case of employees fraud, as we'll be considering in this class, is a case of an individual or collusion of individuals working against the interest of the company. So in the one leg, corporate fraud, the management were working to the fraudulently for the interest of the company against the public. But in the case of employee fraud, an individual or a collusion of fraudulent individuals, employees, were working against the interest of the organization. So, Osman Gas is a gas company that is located in Lagos, as in domestic gas company, the one we used to cook at home. The value of the business value is about 56 million naira. So it's an SME. What were the fraud schemes that the employees, some of the employees, a collusion of the employees used against the company? The fraud schemes were payment diversion. There was a payment diversion syndicate, so to say it, between the sales department and the accounting department. That is, there were cash sales that were diverted into personal purses. It was a well-structured company, but there were loopholes, as we'll be considering. There were loopholes, there were no controls, as is with the case of many SMEs in Nigeria. This is even a fairly well-organized company compared to many others. So they were diverting funds. They were diverting cash payments, especially. And as an auditor or as an fraud examiner, you should always take note of cash. Cash is the easiest asset to divert. So when we are saying payment diversion now, we are saying what? We are talking about what type of fraud? We are talking about asset misappropriation, because this is cash theft, as we considered under asset misappropriation when we were considering the types of fraud. So the easiest, because it's the most liquid asset, it's easy. If you put two bills of 1,000 naira cash on the table now, somebody can easily take 10 pieces of it instantly. And for this kind of business, that the cash flow is high and is frequent, and in an environment like Nigeria, where we are still struggling with online transfer and online payment system, card payment and all that, cash rules the SME businesses and services. So you must look very keenly into cash handling. How do they handle their cash? So there was a collusion between the sales people who dispense gas to the customer, and the back end accounting stroke cash receiving desk. So many cash payments were not paid into the organization's account. Some were being diverted. A lot by the time this company was investigated. The second of it was inventory manipulation. Inventory manipulation. Of course, you can't be shortchanging the company in cash payment without manipulating inventory. They were manipulating inventory. That is, they will say, okay, this is what we have, and it's not what is actually in the stock is actually far less. So if the owner says, what was it called of gas do we have? Quantity of gas, they can mention something that is times 2 of what is actually existing because they've sold more than they are recording. And that is the cross of Nigeria business founders. It's not easy to establish an SME company without proper structure. And proper structures has to do with division of labor and a whole lot of things, which most of these companies don't even have capacity to do. Again, under inventory manipulation, it was later discovered that even one of the managers, because they have more than 5 dispensing points with their gas tanks beside them, even one of the managers colluded with the securities at night. They will come and take stock out. He has a smaller gas selling points somewhere around his own street where he just take gas and go and sell. All these ones around the street that just dispense on retail level, he comes every weekend to take inventory out like that. So they were manipulating inventory. Then again, what they were doing, there was massive order fulfillment manipulation. What is order fulfillment manipulation? If you say you want to buy 5 kg gas, they give you 3. If you want to buy 10 kg gas, you pay for 10 kg, but they give you what? They give you 9. They give you 8. Because they have to make up for what they are stealing, both in cash and in stock. So you can see, they were not only shortchanging the owner of the business, they were as well shortchanging the customers. And by the time you buy from them and you see that the normal gas that takes you for what? For 1 month, for 2 months, your cooking gas is not taking you more than 3 weeks. What will you do? As a wise customer, you won't go there again. So they were losing customers, they were losing inventories. I'm talking about Ostman gas now. They were losing customers. You cannot imagine if the owner of this company had external investors. They were expecting profit. They will be dragging him. It will be wondering what is happening. So at the end of the day, this business didn't survive this catastrophe. It was an unfortunate incident. Before it could be looked into very well, before the investigation and all that, the business had been eaten into its very bone marrow. So business value of 56 million naira was totally lost. Job of 32 people, both those that were guilty, the few that colluded and that were found guilty, and those that didn't even know, the innocent, those that didn't even know what was going on, including the founder, the owner of the business, they lost their job and means of livelihood. The estimated individuals affected directly and indirectly, we're talking about many. These are family people that have wives, that have children, people that are sending to schools, dependents, they pay different things. It was a big scandal. So as you can see, as it can affect a big organization, it can even affect an SME or a small organization more, especially in a place like Nigeria, that we, by the factors of our environment, have so many loopholes, inherent loopholes in our business, day-to-day business operating system.